Really? That's the best you can do? That's the best you can do? Seems like they didn't learn from week one. They didn't learn at all. Sadly, my Uncle Daryl's not on the video. He had to attend to what he needed to attend to, but I wish he was on this video so we could just both rant today. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know where the future for the Chicago Bears lie, but it's just absolutely embarrassing. Again, we're here yet again on a post-game recap where the Chicago Bears yet again lose to the Green Bay Packers. Listen, at the end of the day, props to the Green Bay Packers. They went out there, they did their job, they came out there, they won. Credit to Matt LaFleur. He called a great game. That's basically it. You know, their players stepped up, our players didn't step up. Simple as that. I understand there's this thing of always never looking into one game to determine somebody's job, but this is the game that effectively should end Matt Eberflus's tenure as Chicago Bears head coach. Now, will the Chicago Bears make that decision and do the right thing for this franchise and fire that man and fire the head coach and just scrap everything all over again? Only time will tell. Kevin Warren, Ryan Poles, they have to go into their meetings. They got to go talk with each other. But if I'm them, the smart thing you do is just even though you can look back to previous instances, but you look directly to this game and you look at the fact that Matt Eberflus got out-coached got coached circles around by Matt LaFleur. The same exact stuff we saw in week one, we got here in this game. Your defensive play caller as a coach just continues to sit back in the zone coverage, elects to not get any pressure on Jordan Love, just sits back there and lets him have a field day. Lets him have a field day. I think at the end of the broadcast, they talked about the fact that Jordan Love had the most efficient passing, performance in Packers history in like years. And of course, it's against the Chicago Bears. Matt Eberflus did absolutely nothing to threaten the Packers. He just continuously and always continuously sat back in that too deep cover zone and elected to put no pressure. Montez Sweat, you couldn't hear his name today because he was virtually a no-show. The defensive line absolutely got no push when it was just rushing for. Why is that the case? No idea. Obviously, that's props to the Green Bay offensive line for winning their one-on-one battles. But if I'm a coach and you're seeing your front four is not getting any pressure 100% of the time, or if 50% of the time, you need to send a blitz. Send your corners, send your backers, send somebody to go get a blitz and go put a hat on frickin' Jordan Love. Make him speed up his internal clock timer so where he might be forcing a ball a lot quicker than it should probably be, which could turn into a turnover. Essentially, everything the Bears did the last few weeks, they completely did the opposite when it came to the Green Bay Packers. And I had a feeling that the coaching staff would get out coached in this game because you had it on the Monday press conference when Matt Eberflus, when he was asked the question, can you play spoiler to this game? All he pretty much said is, this is just another game for us. And there you have it. The Bears coaching staff views this game as another game. They don't view this as a rivalry. And we haven't had, and since Lovie Smith, we have not treated this game as a rivalry. We have not had a coach come up in the building and arguably say, listen, we're going to get this team, we're going to try our hardest to get this team to be a consistent, team that can go out there and compete for championships. But I know the number one damn thing we got to install in this building is to beat the team that continuously kicks our you know what every single year. And it's one, it's my duty to try to get this team to get to a Super Bowl. Number two, it's my duty to try to turn the tide in this matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears and find a way to go out there and beat that team. And the Bears still fail yet to beat that team. That's 10 straight games we have yet to beat the Packers since 2018. Matt Eberflus is 0-4 against the Green Bay Packers in his tenure. Justin Fields, I think, is 0-6 against the Green Bay Packers now. The results stay with themselves. Now, obviously, I'll say this. I'll get the Justin Fields stuff out the way right now, since everybody wants to be the talking point. This potentially could be Justin Fields' last game in a Chicago Bears uniform. Plain and simple. I can't admit it because there's a lot of decisions going on into the offseason to where we don't know the future at quarterback. This could very much have been Justin Fields' last appearance in a Chicago Bears uniform. And I'm just speaking the honest truth. As much as I love Justin Fields, I root for the guy, I have to speak the facts because at the end of the day, Ryan Poles has to go into his evaluation with his scouts and his team to see, okay, can we win with Justin Fields? I personally think you can if you give him the necessary talent around him. They may not think so. I thought Justin Fields played all right, but to be honest, he was at the beck and call of his OC that was calling absolute bullshit. And then his offensive lineman couldn't give him enough protection. Tevin Jenkins probably had his worst game as a Chicago Bear in his entire career. Probably the worst game in his NFL career. The dude was just getting beat. And he wasn't getting beat just occasionally. He was getting beat frequently and he was getting beat easily. Like, if a Green Bay Packers defensive lineman is just doing a simple swim move, and Tevin Jenkins gets beat by that, that's it. Tevin Jenkins had a terrible game today. He had a terrible game today. The offensive line as a whole had a terrible game today. They just didn't bring the intensity. They didn't bring the fight. They didn't bring everything that they needed that the Packers defensive line was giving them. And obviously the Packers D-line, they have a lot of ferocious pass rushers on that D-line. But at the end of the day, you got to win your one-on-one battles. You got to win your one-on-one matchups. And the Bears did not do that. And that just shows you, strictly enough, the talent on the defensive line and the offensive line is significantly better in the Packers' advantage. Now you wonder, and at the end of the day, we may laugh at the Packers for taking all these draft picks on defensive linemen and things like that, but they got that shit right. They know we got to build in the trenches. We got to build in the trenches. We can build in the trenches. We can have some of the most average at best wide receivers out there. Guess what? We have enough blocking. Our quarterback, talented enough, can give him the ball. We can do things. And then we can not only have the quarterback develop, but have the receivers develop as well and get better. And then, obviously, if we keep hitting on draft picks in terms of these defensive linemen, pairing them up alongside free agent moves and develop them well we can be able to get to the quarterback and affect the pressure. You see how Green Bay operates. They build in the trenches, and then they go out and they go draft or sign players, skilled players. But they preferably draft them. And they build them up, and they develop them. That's the one thing the Bears fail to do. They still ignore the in-trench works. They still ignore the fact that we need to improve the offensive line. We need to improve the defensive line. We need to make sure we have good people in the building that are developing said talents. And consistently, the Bears draft the wrong need. Or two, they just hired the coach wrong, and they get the wrong coach. And I'm going to say this. The Bears will not beat the Green Bay Packers till they get the head coach right. When the Bears get the head coach right, that's when the Bears will more than likely finally beat the Green Bay Packers. When we finally can arguably, even if it's a loss, we can say, all right, the Packers escaped with a W against the Bears. Because guess what? Matt LaFleur was getting outcoached by the Bears head coach. And again, Matt Eberflus was getting coached circles around Matt LaFleur. Continuously sat back in the zone and got picked apart. Had Jordan Love thrown over 300 yards, you're going to have Bear fans say, see, if Jordan Love can do this, why can't Justin Fields do this? And they're going to objectively blame Justin Fields for this, which most Bear fans are going to do on X or Twitter. Blame Justin Fields for everything that happened in this game. Like, he's supposed to overcome his bad offensive line play that just didn't want to show up today. He's supposed to overcome some receivers not be able to get open. And 3, he's supposed to overcome his god-awful offensive coordinator that should be left in Green Bay. If anything, you should just freaking tell him, go to the Green Bay locker room, put on the freaking green and gold for them, and you might as well stay there. Because now he's a double agent, essentially. You cannot tell me without a shadow of a doubt Luke Getsy should keep his job. He should be one of the first coaches fired on Black Monday. Eberflus should also go too. But lo and behold, if you somehow stupidly keep Matt Eberflus, well, you got to get rid of Luke Getsy. Luke Getsy absolutely called a pathetic, piss-poor, stupid-ass game today. I couldn't count to you how many freaking times he elected to run that stupid, damn running back toss from either shotgun or pistol formation on a second down, and of course it didn't pick up not one damn yard. It just gets stuffed, and he consistently did that. He doesn't call any quick hot route plays, like no slants. He called one slant this game to DJ Moore, and that ball had to be challenged just to be shown that it was a catch. The only positive thing I will say outside this game for the Bears was, to an extent, the referees were actually pretty good in this game. Outside that stupid play where Justin Fields again gets clocked super late, he still does not get the respect that is needed. As he's sliding down, he gets hit. His head whiplashes on the turf, and then guess what? Only 2 plays later, the referees tell him, hey, dude, you need to get up out of the game. Go get evaluated for a concussion. You're telling this dude to go get out of the game, get evaluated for a concussion, but you don't want to throw an unnecessary roughness flag because he got hit late as he's sliding by a Packers player. But overall, I can't deny the fact that the refs actually didn't play much of a part in previous Bears Packers game. They were actually pretty tame. And if I'm only talking about that one freaking stupid play where the refs didn't call a late unnecessary roughness play on the Packers for Justin Fields, well then whatever. But at the end of the day, the refs had no bearings over this game. The refs were actually pretty fine. And I have to admit that. It's absolutely embarrassing. But going back to the Getsy stuff, it's absolutely embarrassing. Kept running those stupid toss plays, and then of course he goes to stupid screen plays. Like, there's the last offensive drive they had a negative play, and then this dude comes out and runs a wide receiver screen. Of course it doesn't work. And then 2, you had another play call where it was so weird. They had freaking Trent Taylor trying to block Rashawn Gary, the edge player. And of course that's going to epically fail. Luke Getsy does not know what he's doing. He does not know what he's calling. It's the same thing we get every time. The first drive, which was the first 15 plays, it looks good. That first drive looked good. Looked good. We didn't get a touchdown because, hey, the Packers defense played I think it was Preston Smith, played, Khalil Herbert on the screen really good. If not, that could have gone for a lot of yards. But outside the first 15 plays, when it's time to coach on the fly and time to play call on the fly, Luke Getsy gets just absolutely schooled. Joe Barry is not that good of a defensive coordinator. This is the same Joe Barry that for the last few weeks was getting cooked. Getting cooked by freaking Bryce Young and an anemic freaking Carolina Panthers offense. You came from Green Bay. You know the defense Green Bay runs. You know their weaknesses. You know those players on that other side of the ball. And you telling me you can't scheme up a good game plan against your former team, a team that you should know how to scheme up against. It's simple. Lou Getsy has no clue what to do. He has no clue on what type of play calls he should call. He has no clue on what plays to call based on what the defense is giving him, and he just gets absolutely schooled and he gets in his own way. You cannot bring this guy back if you have any intentions of drafting Caleb Williams with the first overall pick, because you're just going to ruin Caleb Williams. And we're going to be here in a few years, in 4 more years from now, 3 or 4 more years after Bear fans will have given up on a Caleb Williams, since like they did with Justin Fields, because your OC set this dude up for failure. This dude did not call one pass play for Justin Fields in the 3rd quarter alone. That alone tells me all I need to know about how that man feels about Justin Fields. And you know, without a shadow of a doubt, he's going to try to pin everything this season Justin Fields couldn't do on Justin Fields so he can save his ass and save his job, so he can be guaranteed another year. And when he's got butt buddy Matt Eberflus literally letting him do whatever he wants and not checking him. I've said this on multiple occasions. He needs to check Lou Getsy. And Matt Eberflus wanted to be best friends with everybody in the building. He did not want to check his offensive coordinator when he's calling BS plays. And he's not going to do that. Let him go. Lou Getsy has to go. It's absolutely embarrassing that this man kept his job for an entire season. The jury is out. He can't freaking play call worth a damn. Get you an offensive coordinator that is going to freaking actually call plays to their team's strengths. This guy didn't want to run one hot route outside that DJ Moore slant. He didn't want to run anything else. He didn't want to run any more slants. Nothing. No quick routes. Nothing to get the ball out fast. Your offensive line is getting abused. No quick routes, no slants. We got to call everything deep shots. It's absolutely embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. It's stupid. I'm sick and I'm freaking tired of this bullshit. I'm done. Matt Eberflus needs to be fired first thing in the morning tomorrow. I don't care if it's just one game in the. And Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus, and Kevin Warren, my bad, not Eberflus, need to look at this whole picture. I've already said it before, and I'll say it again. This guy did not come out prepared week 1 to have the Bears ready to play against the same Green Bay Packers team, just like he didn't have them prepared to play again this week in week 18. He had 2 coaches this year fired for HR violations, which tells you they are not good characters of men. You blow 3 games when you're up 2 scores in all 3 of those games, and you blow all those games with only 3 minutes left to go in the 4th quarter against the Denver Broncos, the Detroit Lions, and the freaking Cleveland Browns. All games that if you win each and all those games, you're in the playoffs. I can't deny the fact even though he got the Bears defense playing a lot better, he didn't have the Bears defense playing good today. And then the fact that he was able to double the team's win, that's nice. That's great. But that's not enough. The record is out. The jig is out with this guy. This guy just needs all the talent in the world on defense to succeed. You saw how piss poor the secondary was tonight. The secondary was god-awful. You see why Jalen Johnson now deserves to be paid all this money. Now you see why Jalen Johnson needs to be paid. If I'm Ryan Poles, you pay that man. Now obviously you got to be smart with your money. You can't pay him outlandish money, but you gotta have an incentive to pay him. Jalen Johnson, if I'm Jalen Johnson, I'm sitting back and be like, look at the secondary. Look at the corners. They didn't do too good of a job, especially me. Terrell Smith, he got absolutely killed this game. They were targeting him early, and they continuously targeted him. He was getting picked apart. On the one touchdown, he just got blown off the ball. Just got blown off the ball. Not even a contest. Receiver just made, I think it was Wicks, made one just stick move, and he just gets blown up. Loses footing, toasted. Eddie Jackson, he was abysmal in this game. He had a chance to stop a wide receiver screen, and he completely whipped on a tackle. For all intents and purposes, he's done as a Bear. This definitely is his last game as Chicago Bear. He's not coming back. Done. Good riddance. Goodbye. Thank you for your everything you've done, but Eddie Jackson hasn't been worth a damn thing since 2018. Ever since 2018, and then he got paid the following season, 2019. He has been god awful, to say the least. His play has taken a step down. Obviously, injuries play a factor into that, and obviously, age plays a factor into that. But my God, he has taken a step down and he has regressed ever since he got paid. So cut him, saves you money, cut Cody Whitehair, and then that's basically it. You fire the coach, fire the coaching staff, get them up out of town, fire Getsy, fire Eberflus. And then Ryan Poles has to make the tough decision. And he has to make the decision on if he's going to keep Fields or if he's going to move on from Fields and draft a quarterback. And obviously, the number one thing is the fact that he's got number two. And I will say, I don't think Justin Fields in this game did himself any favors, but I can't really blame him. But again, it's always this thing of you have the first pick in the NFL draft again. You surely can't pass it up back-to-back years. Again, you can make the argument why the Bears should keep Fields. You can make the argument why they should just move off on him and go take a quarterback with the first pick. At this point, I'm going to be intrigued to see where it goes from that point. And at this point, as a Bear fan, I'm just going to take whatever this team gets me because I'm a Bears fan at the end of the day. Whether Justin Fields comes back or if Caleb Williams is a Chicago Bear or some other quarterback they take is a Chicago Bear, I'm going to support it fully and hopefully it's right. I would hope if they move off Justin Fields, they go after Caleb Williams. Plain and simple. Like, if you give me Drake May, I guess I'll be like, all right, I guess I'll take it. But it's like, I won't be as hype if Caleb Williams comes here. But it's just, there's nothing else to say. There's really nothing else to say. This entire team just needs to be blown up again. And that's just strictly from the coaching staff. The coaching staff a decision needs to be on the coaching staff first, and then that's when you have an entire offseason to make your decision. Well, up until really probably March to make your decision on the quarterback. I said it last week. Field as many calls as you can see who's willing to give the most amount of assets or capital for the first pick, and then see what what's the feeling teams will give you in terms of compensation for a Justin Fields. We said it last week with my uncle. If a team is actually really stupid enough, we'll give you a first-round pick for Justin Fields, I don't give a shit. You would say, all right, that's a deal. I love Justin Fields, but if a team is willing to give up a first-round pick for Justin Fields, you take it. And that, again, it continues to show me that this guy is going to continue. Bear fans are not going to give him respect. They're going to expect him, he needs to have this amount of passing yards. He needs to do this. He needs to overcome everything. He's supposed to overcome his bad offensive line. He's supposed to overcome receivers outside of DJ Moore and Cole Kmet that aren't worth a damn. He's supposed to overcome his god-awful offensive coordinator that can't get the job done. He's supposed to overcome all that. But then I look at a guy like Trevor Lawrence. He's been mid all season long. He's been up and down, up and down, up and down, just like Justin Fields has. You go back to last year. He had a breakout season, just like Justin Fields did. Justin Fields, he had a breakout season. And where you think going into year 3, he's going to take off. Year 1 for Trevor Lawrence, he wasn't good. Just like Justin Fields wasn't good. He had flashes in his rookie season, just like Trevor Lawrence did, but he wasn't overall that good. And like I said, Trevor Lawrence, he's labeled as the generational quarterback from that draft class. And he's been playing average at best. If not, he's been mid his entire NFL career. So that's why you have to hope that Caleb Williams, hit is a hit and he's able to take you to the playoffs. I understand, and Bear fans are bringing up the fact, especially what CJ Stroud did yesterday, and they're like, see, Ryan Poles missed out on CJ Stroud. Listen, you don't understand. If the Bears had taken CJ Stroud with the first overall pick last year, they would not have the talent they have today. They would have no Darnell Wright. They would have no DJ Moore. Simple as that. They probably don't have a Tyreek Stevenson. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And I guarantee you, CJ Stroud is not playing that good like he is in Houston. Because you want to know why? Houston believes in him. You have an offensive play caller that play calls for him and to his strengths. And plus, they got more talent. They have a better offensive line than we do. Offensive linemen that don't consistently get beat. So, for Bear fans clamoring we should have drafted CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud would not be the same CJ Stroud in Chicago he is in Houston. So now, if you do draft a Caleb Williams or any other quarterback in the draft, the expectation now, especially the fact that this team has the talent to win, the expectation next year is to take the next step, make the playoffs. Whether that's with a new coaching staff or you get a new OC and Eberflus. At the end of the day, you got to freaking get a freaking playoff appearance next year. That's when you need to take the next step. And I feel like, in my opinion, that's asking too much of a rookie to do. Because a rookie has to virtually be perfect. CJ Stroud was virtually perfect in almost every game he played in. Simple as that. And I think he only had like 1 or 2 bad games all season. And after that, it just clicked for him. And he got it. Again, the possibility can always happen if you do draft a quarterback. But at the end of the day, it potentially can't happen. Because that's putting a lot of pressure. But we'll see. We'll see. There's really nothing else I have to say, but I just hope Matt Eberflus and Lou Getsy are fired at the end of the day. I just really hope that they get fired. They get canned tomorrow on Black Monday. Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren, they really need to do their research. They really need to do their homework. And they keep vouching that they're going to look at the big picture. Well, I hope they look at the big picture 100%. And the big picture tells them we can't win with these guys at the coaches at the helm. They're great. Eberflus is a great leader of men. The team stuck by him, but we need to go in a different direction because we feel like he's not the coach to take us in the right direction going into next year. And the number one thing he needs to be doing is after Monday is over, you fire freaking Eberflus, you offer Jim Harbaugh how much money you want. You offer him the freaking cash cow. You tell him, come back to Chicago, fix this. Simple as that. Simple as that. But we'll see what the Bears do in the offseason. I'll be making off-season content. I'll probably do a Chicago Bears season in review / future outlook with my Uncle Daryl when he has the time, probably next Saturday. And yeah. If there's any coaches or any news that gets released, we'll see. I don't know about tomorrow because I'll be working all day. If any news comes out about any Chicago Bears firing, they'll have to be late at the evening, and that's kind of the thing right then and there. So we'll see. But another disappointing result. Bears lose to the Green Bay Packers yet again. And at this point, I just want Matt Eberflus and Lou Getsy to just be fired and get off my fucking team. I'm done. As for Justin Fields, who knows what the future entails for him? We'll see. If this really truly is it of Justin Fields' time in Chicago, I thank him for all the great moments he had. By far one of my favorite prospects I've ever seen the Bears drafted at the quarterback position. I was so excited when we got him. I have it on my Instagram story, when we drafted him, and I was so excited we got him. And it sucks that he was dealt a poor hand if he is gone, because he walks into the ineptitude of Matt Nagy. They tear it all down for him, not giving him any pieces to work with. And then this year comes around where they give him some talent, but not enough. And the coaching lets him down. Now, obviously, in some cases, he didn't do himself any favors, but mostly the coaching let him down. It's like I say, people who expected Fields to take you can't overcome everything. He was dealt a poor hand, and you can't really blame him. And again, I have the utmost love and I wouldn't say infatuation, but the utmost respect for the way Justin Fields handles his business, how he plays. And if this is it, well then, I had the most fun watching him every single week with all the amazing things he did in the Chicago Bears uniform. And I'll never forget any of those moments I had. The only thing that's gonna suck is I'll never see him wear a Bears uniform again. And dare I say, I might not even freaking wear this jersey again. Maybe I'll pull this jersey out every now and then, but I'll be getting the next quarterback's jersey, hoping that they hit. So we'll see. We'll see. But anyways, I'm gonna get up here. Catch you guys in the next video, whenever that may be. Until then, guys, stay safe out there. And we'll give an outlook about this season next week on the weekend. Until then, guys, stay safe out there. Peace.